a film that you are a part of is being remade with Vijay, which is Jananayagan, and that was Bhagwan Kesari. And the next day, your film releases.
I didn't expect that to happen. Bhagwan Kesari was such a beautiful story, and I was part of it, being a huge Vijay sir fan. A film like Parasakthi that gives so much importance to the land, the language. And look at his journey.
Yeah.
Like he's come step by step by step. She's extremely brave. She's a rebel. This film was very real. Sudha ma'am is someone who brings like real stories with cinematic brilliance together. Sudha ma'am's shooting speed is the fastest I've ever seen. She shoots like that. See, I am a commercial film heroine. I enjoy my commercial films. But doing Bhagwan Kesari was such a question at that point of time because everyone was like, you're doing commercial film. To do a daughter and father-daughter film is quite bizarre at that point in time. So Sudha ma'am would be there and we'd all just be sitting and doing random things. We'd be eating food, we'd be getting chokodis and we'd be doing all of that. We look at Sudha ma'am, she'll be like, she'll be at it. And we all stop and we're like, man, that one woman, pretty urutta lead பண்ணுவாங்க full Ratnamala. Ratnamala.
Presta Premium Women's Wear. Let your body love it.
டார்லிங் சோலார் 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம். This festive season, travel the world with Grand Royal Tours.
Hello, Ratnamala, aka Sreeleela. So, what's going on there? What's this? What's? Just tell me what's going on there.
So we were very clear that while promoting this film, I shouldn't be like Leela, dressing up like Leela, and Ratna is now like in me also.
You're possessed.
Legit.
Okay.
So that's when we decided to do promotions in Ratnamala's look, and that's why you see Ratna today.
Yeah, but tell me what is this? It's like because you know you hear about Georgette and Poplin and all these things of a time long ago. I genuinely am curious. What is it? What is
You know,
this?
it's funny you're asking me that, but there's this wonderful woman, Purnima and Sudha ma'am, who are handling this entire thing because I have zero knowledge about. It's my mum's department. Usually, saris is mum's department, and so they've gotten one thing from one place, and each jewelry is handpicked from one particular man in one village. So there's a lot of work that's gone.
Right, but can you give us like an idea, like a basic thing for the uneducated?
Really,
yeah.
I must probably say I'm a little unaware about the materials, but yeah, I'm a little unaware.
Okay, fair enough. So, but that ribbon is a nice touch.
Yeah,
it's like
the ribbon, the watch.
The watch. Oh, that's an antique watch as well?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We call it the Ratnamala watch.
Does it actually work?
Yeah, but I wore it ulta.
It should be this way, right?
Yeah, wait a minute. Now you look at you giving attention to detail. Perfect. Yeah.
Nice. So, so you looking the part, you know, you're kind of creating a bit of history this Pongal in Tamil Nadu because a film that you are a part of is being remade with Vijay, which is Jananayagan, and that was Bhagwan Kesari. And the next day, your film releases. So it's like there's some weird kind of quiz trivia question.
I mean, I didn't expect that to happen. I don't know if it is the proper remake or so, but
no, neither do I. But it's just the buzz that's going on. Yeah,
and if so, I think Bhagwan Kesari was such a beautiful story, and I was part of it. So I have so much respect for it, and I think that's amazing. Honestly,
yeah,
like a story like that to be told again too. Being a huge Vijay sir fan, and Parasakthi, of course. I mean, it's a new beginning. It's a milestone for me, and for it to be a film like Parasakthi that gives so much importance to the land, the language, is something I'm very proud to be a part of.
Right. So we'll get to the movie, but before that, I just wanted to say that everybody remarks that, wow, Sreeleela did her MBBS while she was acting in movies and all that. But I think equally impressive is the fact that you're a mother managing motherhood and cinema at a very young age, and that's not something that's discussed very much. And how do you manage to like
you
because you're
know,
shooting, you're promoting, you're doing this, you're doing that, and I know that you have a support system and all that, but it's still that.
I think sometimes because we're actors, we're also given more credit for things that they just give that extra credit. I feel because it could be a very normal thing, but the moment somebody in the spotlight, I'm not talking about me here, I'm talking about anybody who's in the spotlight. Whenever they do something, it's also exaggerated to be a very very good thing, which is how kind people are. But when you say mother, I think that's a huge term. But how I know what exactly you're talking about. So it's not exactly what people assume it to be. To be very honest, I think unfortunately I can't have them stay with me. So it's a complete separate thing. And I keep that life of mine private.
No, I know you
That's-
keep it private, and I'm
Yeah.
not getting into that at all. But the apart from the fact that you did this, but what I'm trying to say is, and I don't think it's special, simply because there are certain jobs, and every mother works very hard. That's not the point at all. But there are certain jobs that where you go out and come back at a particular time, and your life is a little regulated, whereas your life is, because of the profession, it's a odd times,
Different
cities. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So
For me, as I mentioned earlier, because they're not with me, um, I wish it was like that, to be honest, but they have a set of people taking care of things already, and also kids who cannot be out there. So it it I don't know. Sometimes I fall short of words. I get jittery when I talk about it, but it's taken care of.
nice,
It's taken care of.
nice.
And
But has the experience changed you?
absolutely.
Does it make you ready for something?
See, I'm not a mother because there's an entire different story to that. But I think that maternal instinct is very strong. I think women itself, we have it very strong, very young. It starts when we're very young. So I tend to mother people around me also a lot. But that's the only way I know to show love. Like, that's the only way I know to show affection. If I'm fond of someone, um, I will start doing things what my mother did to me, which is probably not the best thing. Like, I don't know if I'd be a very ideal um, girlfriend in today's generation because of that, because my way of showing affection is very different. Yeah.
Nice. No, the reason I also asked is because there are some people that draw from their life when they're performing, and you're a slightly unusual person, in the sense that this happens very early in your life. Usually when we're talking about actors that become mothers, it's after they've established into kind of maybe 30s or something like that. This has happened so that when I read that, I was like, wow, that takes a lot of courage, a lot of wanting to do something, and that's where I was coming from. So yeah.
It was actually a film that I did early on in my career. It was a Kannada film that I did, and because of which then my director decided it was about kids. My director then decided to take me to this one ashram, and it happened there. So the kids are there, although we speak on the phone. I keep visiting them. That is there, but there I really wish to do something much bigger, better. I wish people somewhere. It was a secret for the longest time, and I remember when the institution themselves were like, "We would want you to talk about it so that more people get encouraged." So I think through this, if there's any message I want to give, I don't want to take credit for anything. I do not want to be given credit for anything, but I do want people to start looking in that direction. I would appreciate it if people would start That's what I say. You know, there's one thing that I started called Here for You, and where we reach out to kids and we start help develop rural areas and educate them. We sit and do these kind of activities there. And what I tell my friends, the youth, and everybody is that, you know, I know we're like life is hectic, but if we could just give that little bit of time from our day, and I'm not talking about material things. Just go spend time and spread love. That will impact, change, and make you feel better.
Yeah.
Do this for yourself.
No, and I think you're giving. I mean, I think you're being a little bit modest, simply because I think when a person who's in the spotlight does something, which may be the exact same thing that somebody else is doing, and no more or no less or whatever it is, but when this person does it, because the cameras are there, because the message is going out to a lot more people, I think the message goes out to a lot of people. For example, you know, when a few years ago when Deepika Padukone spoke about depression, it's not that she's the first person to have that condition or experience it, but she's the first big celebrity that actually spoke about it. And I think that made a lot of difference to a lot of people who kind of found they self-appointed an ambassador in her and said, okay, wow, okay, now I can, you know, maybe some people were even struggling to talk about it.
Correct.
And
correct.
so she made it a little safe for people to, and that's exactly what I think you've done, which is why I think you should not underestimate this, and neither should it be glorified. I think it is what it is, but because you've done it, I think it's fantastic. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm grateful for having that opportunity. See, as a person, I don't know if this is going off topic, but
Oh, we love going off topic. So,
I believe in being very empathetic. So the reason why I wanted to finish medicine, why I wanted to be a doctor, was not merely a white coat fantasy. It was I loved being a people's person. I loved being there for people, and I feel like both my professions somehow cater to people. One's making them happy, one's healing them. I look at it like that. And that is why that when I mean, God's been kind. I hope that somewhere, and people, I feel, have all of this in them, but there's so much happening in the world outside that sometimes it might slip their head. So if they ever come across any of this, I would want to remind probably them that, hey, this is something they could
do. That's nice.
They could do.
So we'll get away from this and we'll talk
Yeah.
about the movie, right? So a few years ago, when you were asked who's your dream director, you said it's somebody I can create history with. Those are very.
Oh wow!
What happened?
How do you know that?
It's out there on the web.
Okay, but that's really cool. I mean, someone quoting something I said years ago is
So, did Sudha fit that category?
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. She was one director, I think I didn't even imagine, like, I would play her movie scenes or her songs from the film and enact in front of the mirror. I don't even know, I haven't told her this directly, but or say those lines like they did, or walk with the attitude of her female characters. And getting this opportunity was huge, huge for me. And I gave it everything. Like, I gave it all of me.
So, how much of yourself did you put into Ratnamala?
As I said earlier, all of me, and I feel like Ratnamala today is a part of me.
In what
She
way?
was an aspect of me that I didn't tap into myself also for the longest time. She's extremely brave. She's a rebel. And I was a very soft-spoken girl. So for me, this journey was extremely transformative. This somewhere being bold, being out there, having my own opinion on things and being okay with talking about it. That for me took some time. That for me wasn't the most natural thing that came to me from in the beginning. Again, there are 100 circumstances why you feel like you can start, you shrink yourself basically. But this one character is what opened me up. She cracked, and my director worked on that. She cracked me open.
So apparently, when you walked into the audition, you said, I want to unlearn everything that I've done until now. Why are you smiling?
just I'm very fascinated with the points that you picked out.
So, what had you done so far? What have you done so far? And why did you say, I want to unlearn what you've done?
I believe in, you have to shed your skin off as we keep moving. So there was a certain pattern of things that I was doing a certain way. There's this, like, for example, you live life also a certain way, couple of years, but you want to change that. You want to make certain changes in it. It could be script selection, it could be the way you act, it could be certain silent nuances. Because everyone goes through that somewhere as you grow up as well. It's also adulting, I guess. But I was very clear that I wanted to do that. I didn't want to get into a monotonous cycle.
Right.
See, I am a commercial film heroine. I enjoy my commercial films, but started looking for more, and I think that's a human problem. We keep wanting more, wanting to do something new. So that was what I meant there, and that's why I said, I have zero knowledge. Teach me. I'm just here receiving whatever you tell me to do. And that's how we did our workshops. We did the entire prep.
Right. So, just to elaborate on that, can you give me an example of how you might have done? Maybe it's a love scene, maybe it's a scene where you have to cry, maybe it's a scene where you have to do whatever that you might have done before you met Sudha and went through this process. And now how you do it, just to see how she cracked you open, to use your phrase.
Yeah. So I'd probably, again, it depends film to film. Like, I've made films like Bhagwant Kesari again, where it was different. I've made films like Guntur Karam, where it's that proper, very beautifully shown. So probably, I don't know if I was perceived a certain way.
Right.
Like, you can get into, people love putting, I think we tend to do that also. We put people in particular boxes, right? I feel like defining anything is confining it. I don't believe in that. So for me, defining anything is confining it, and I wanted to break open, in the sense, I also did get to do real characters, where how we communicate the way we do in real life. I've been part of a lot of fictional type of stories. I've always been a part of cinema, or I've done a lot of films that I necessarily didn't understand, but I knew that that's somebody else's understanding of things, right? So I don't believe you need to connect to every kind of film. You can, but that 4-5 people are going through that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm able to sit and put it out exactly, but
No, if I'm right, what you're saying is basically that I don't need to have gone through that exact growth chart or behaviors or whatever it is, but as long as others have, it represents them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that way I've catered to the audience that they wanted me to cater at that point of time. And this film was very real. Like, Sudha ma'am is someone who brings, like, real stories with cinematic brilliance together. So to be a part of something like that was very real. Like, at one point, I know, for example, let me tell you my take on love, okay? Not my take on love, normala. Should I speak in Tamil?
Yeah.
Can I speak in Tamil?
Yeah.
Okay. So, or paiya, if a girl has konja feelings or love அந்த மாதிரி என்னது இருக்குன்னா, ஒரு expectation வந்துட்டு இந்த பொண்ணு, she will look at him, அதுக்கப்புறம் வெக்கப்படுறது,
coy glances.
ஆமா, and like சிரிக்கிறது அந்த மாதிரி. ஆனா ரியாலிட்டி இஸ், அந்த பாயிண்ட்ல அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு என்ன ஃபீல் ஆகுதோ அதுக்கு எக்ஸாக்ட் ஆப்போசிட்டா பிஹேவ் பண்ணுது. திட்டுவாங்க ஒரு கொஞ்சம் அப்படி டாமினேட்டிங்கா, பிகாஸ் அட் தட் பாயிண்ட் தட் கேர்ள் இஸ் கன்ஃபியூஸ்ட் அபவுட் வாட் ஷீ இஸ் ஃபீலிங். ஷீ இஸ் ஆல்சோ அன்கம்ஃபர்டபிள் தட் நான் எப்படி, எனக்கு இப்படி, how can I feel something like that? that was there in this film. In Aparna, she's not the ideal girl that we in today's world assume a woman to be.
Yeah. But neither was Aparna Balamurali's character in Surya
Yeah.
Portray. Yeah?
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
a very, she's like a nice, and the girls in Iridhu Sutru, you know, Sudha writes girls, women,
Women.
very differently. So that's like a, you know, she makes sure they pack a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it what you're saying. So it's like, it's not just like, hey, I'm looking at you and I'm going to bat my eyelids and like, you know,
Yeah.
give a coy look and say I'm in love. I'm actually going to try to put something of what this person is feeling inside her and present it. That's quite a change.
Yeah. And
Have you
that's
done something like this earlier?
No.
Okay.
No.
So all those glances you gave Mahesh Babu in Guntur
That is
Karam,
fully me. That is fully me. That's a different version of me. So I would say the first stage of love would be this, where you're like, you don't know how to behave and you're like, you keep getting mad. And then later on comes that, that's when you become emotionally open to a person, and that's when you'll start showing them that vulnerable, those silent stares and glares. That happens later. Usually first, we're all very awkward about what we're feeling.
I think it's also, we're trying to define it for ourselves, because the emotion does not instantly announce itself as love.
Yeah.
Because you begin to feel something and then
Yeah.
you're trying to say, okay, what is this I'm feeling? You know, that comes, you know, that's something that's a little, which generally commercial films don't take too much time with, simply
Yeah.
because they probably want to get on to the next plot point, and this
Correct.
is probably just a setup for a song, and no judgment there. I mean, that's how some movies go.
No,
but
I love my commercial films. My commercial films are the reason I am me, or people have given me so much love for whether it's my dance or whether it's the songs. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity I had. But now I want to obviously entertain them more. Like, I don't want to bore them. They've invested their time in today's world onto me, and I do give respect to that.
I saw a clip on the internet where you were landing. I know where you were coming from, but because of the Kissak song and that photo kind of gesture, so you were passing through the baggage area and the paps were all there around you, and maybe it's in Bombay, I don't know, but you were wearing this black shirt and coming out, and so many people are asking you to do it, and that one song has, just that one song in that movie has basically, you know,
Pushpa was I feel it changed so much for me, and I'm so grateful for all of them, because that was a film that was representing Indian cinema also in a global market. To be honest, I mean, it was that huge, and to be a part of a film like that, although it wouldn't be my most ideal thing, I wouldn't. Anyone who knows me, anyone close to me, also know that special songs wouldn't have been my thing. But there was one such film that I made that, and it was the right film to do it for.
But why not? I mean, you are a dancer. You've done your Arangetram and all that, and it's a form of dance, self-expression. Why would you not want to do that? I mean, I'm curious.
I wouldn't mind doing it in my films.
Oh, right.
I would, and obviously in few very I think it's also probably that I want to explore different aspects for myself, and then I wouldn't mind. Say I'm an actor, end of the day, I would do anything that's given to me. And for me, dance is an emotion. For me, dance is something I do when I'm having an amazing day and I want to celebrate. I would dance. Not for anybody else, but for myself, because I'm liberating myself at that point of time. When I'm sad, when I'm not able to get through my day, music and alone again, and that just lifts me up. So dance for me is an emotion. It's inside me. Nobody can take it out of me. But I feel for the platform I have been given, there's a lot more that I should be serving.
Right. So, do you have a dance number in Parasakthi?
புதுசா ட்ரை பண்ணலாம் அதான் we did a little bit of jazz, so it's not your mass but it's different. It's ஒரு jazz மாதிரி ரத்னமாலா பாட்டுல ஒரு bit வருது. So அங்க
That's your thing. So, what was it like coming onto the set with no makeup at all?
I loved it.
Okay. Was this the first time?
No, Bhagwant Kesari also.
No makeup there?
No, a lot of scenes just. Then there was also another film in Kannada. Naturally, those are the kind of looks. But for Ratnamala in Parasakthi, I think there's one in between where I was like, it's period, so we had to do there's a certain eye makeup that we had to follow and all of that. So then at one point, I would do a little bit and I would come. And ma'am would come, take a tissue paper and she'd wipe my face and be like, perfect. Now let's shoot. So
I can actually imagine Sudha doing
yeah.
that. So.
Yeah, that's happened. But I think it was very liberating and somewhere you feel a little more vulnerable. I was so glad I had the opportunity. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be like that for every film. I strongly believe couple of stories require, couple of stories don't. Had I not been an actress, my daily life, I'm not someone who'd put on makeup. Not to college, not to hospital, nothing. So it was very liberating.
So you've shot ads with Ravi K.
Yeah.
But this is your first feature film that he's shooting you.
Yeah.
And Ravi always makes his heroines look amazing. And I always keep telling him that Rani Mukherjee's looked the best when he shot her in Paheli and
my God.
like Black and like all those films where Paheli she's made up, Black she's wearing no makeup, and whatever he does, he just like, what was it like being shot by him for a feature film?
I'm like, sir, there were points where I went to him and I'm like, is that me, sir? Like,
after seeing it on the
on the monitor, and even after my dub, and I'm like, sir, your frames, I feel I'm too small of a person to talk about your body of work or your work, but I couldn't stop myself from just. And the man is, he's just another level. Like, I remember on set, in between shots, what is any DOP supposed to do? Usually they go take a cup of coffee and chill. No. He's there taking pictures of random things. There'll be a small thing he would have seen. He'll take a picture of it. He'll edit it on his phone and he'll be staring at it. And then he'll take, I think I'm revealing too much about him. I'm like, sorry, sir, if I'm like overstepping. But he'd take a sketch and his pencil and he'd just start like drawing something. So he's that, like he was telling me one conversation with his wife. Apparently, if he's like having a conversation, if he's not in the right mood or something, she just give a camera to his hand. She'd be like, "Now you do your thing." So he's a magician.
Right. Did this film, the lighting and so on, involve a lot of waiting a little more than the other films?
Not at all.
Okay.
We shot. Sudha ma'am's shooting speed is the fastest I've ever seen. She shoots like that. So we've shot 3 scenes a day. RKCs are super fast. I've never waited for a shot as far as I remember.
But was it taxing? I've heard that it was about 80 days and you covered about 40 locations or something like that. It's just like
something like that.
Yeah.
Taxing in the sense
overnight car journeys and whatever it is and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that would be there, but I think we all as a unit would enjoy it. Like I remember times where the ADs and Chandani was there to help me out with the language so well. We'd sit down, we'd start discussing about the scene and we'd just be into it. அந்த டைம்ல அந்த மாதிரியா இப்படி பண்ண முடியாதா லைக் முடியுமா அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கான்வர்சேஷன் We were all just dwelling in Parasakthi. We didn't have anything else to talk about in life.
Did you know Tamil before this?
I learnt Tamil.
For the movie.
I love the language also, but yes.
So this is when you actually started speaking the language
Yeah.
to an extent, right? Wow. You said that Sivakarthikeyan is the film's greatest strength. Obviously, he's the center of the film, but did you like also mean that in another way, as in like the way he held together the production or something like that? Because that statement was a little general. So I was like, what exactly did you mean by that?
I think when I said Parasakthi, I meant he's, again, I'll be revealing certain things. So, I mean, in the film, it all comes together. You would understand more in the film. But even to produce a film like this, I'd actually give it out to my producers, Akash sir and Dawn Pictures. It's not easy to make a film like that, and for them to somehow and our hero really had. It's because of him that we could make this film the way it is, right? There's a lot that he brought to the table, and let it be the span, let it be the investments. I'm not, again, I'm more science and not math, but these are things I've heard also. A lot of people say, and just what his character graph is in the film is why I feel he's one of the strongest pillars.
I know this is a weird question, but I'm asking you this because I've been asked this sometimes because I'm an engineer who came into this field. So sometimes people ask me, does your engineering brain help you with this? Though I don't have an engineering brain to speak of. But then the thing is there any overlap you feel between what you've studied in medicine and what you're applying in cinema? Is there some part of the brain that there is?
100%.
Okay.
I feel it is important for an actor to have a lot of knowledge about everything around the world. Generally, general knowledge is also very important. Experiences and your sensitivity meter has to be high. And what more can I don't know, like hospital stories, what I've seen in my course of being in the hospital or in my postings was people's emotional journeys very closely.
Yeah.
You see life and death. You see situations. You see people having financial situation to clear bills. There's so many stories. What is cinema? It's a story. And like that, I've been grateful. I mean, I was exposed to around 3-4 stories like this every day. So it gives you so much perspective. It opens your mind up very differently. You're very sensitive about microscopic things, and you're very real. You don't take anything. So that's what I say, that this side it's just one colorful world, dancing, there's wonderful costumes, there's so many people, and there it's a white coat. It's a completely different situation. You're seeing life and death. So that really matures you as an actor.
Right. So that's a beautiful answer actually. Thank you for that. And when you are asked to play the commercial film heroine, and again, no judgment there, but the investment that you do in that character probably is not as much as what you're doing for this character of Ratnamala and Parasakthi under Sudha Kongara's direction, and that kind of stuff, right? So, but how do you treat that? Do you just look at it as, hey, listen, I'm just going to have this role is not going to do much for me, but I'm just going to have some fun, like a good time, and hopefully audiences will have a good time. Is that how you treat that?
See, I believe that not every role of mine I want to. I would
like
sometimes
sink your teeth into. Or whatever.
Yeah, like there's certain breeder films that I make.
That's a nice
I would
word,
love to make
breeder films.
Breeder films.
Yeah.
I'm an actor. I sometimes do love to I want people to have a pleasant time. I'm not probably always trying to tell them something. I just want to entertain them. I know they're going through their day. It must be hard. And if they're watching a couple of minutes of my song and that's making them happy, if they're watching a film and that's making them feel relaxed, taking them on a visual vacation, I'm glad. That's my job.
You're giving me all these great phrases, breather, films, visual vacation. I mean, these are like, what did you just like, did you just like make up a list of things that you're
No,
going to?
I
I'm
mean-
kidding. It's fantastic. It's a lovely way to talk about that aspect of acting. And I've heard certain actors, female actors say that that's not easy. Because, just because you're supposed to dance or sing or do this or do that. I mean, trying to be a little bit convincing in a very, very outlandish and unconvincing role, they say it's actually more difficult than if you have an author-backed
Yeah.
character. Do you agree with that?
100%. If you have something meaty, like literally, author backed, written well, characters, you're just lucky. And I'm so grateful. I know got it pretty late, but I'm grateful for it. But those characters were actors, were not directors. I feel actors at times, which is okay, it's fine, but normally they're also questioned based on, okay, if they've done glam roles. Again, if you've come from a space where you don't come from a place of like cinematic um, families or per se, you also start doing work that is offered to you, and you look at everything as one step
Yeah.
to get to a place where you somewhere on a platform for yourself where you can start doing films that you really connect to.
Yeah.
And I have built that for myself. So that is why I hold on to every step of mine with gratitude. And I took that step and I look back and I still I'm happy because those steps actually got me to a place today where I could make a film like Parasakthi.
Yeah. So on the set of Parasakthi, where you have SK, you have Ravi Mohan. I have trouble not saying Jayam Ravi. I have to consciously remind myself to call him Ravi Mohan, and and Atharva, and there's. What was an average day on set like? Was it? I know that Sudha super intense. So, but did you guys manage to?
Oh, you know what? So Sudha ma'am would be there, and we'd all just be sitting and doing random things. We'd be eating food, we'd be getting chokodis, and we'd be doing all of that. We look at Sudha ma'am. She'll be like, she'll be at it, and we all stop and we're like, man, that one woman, pretty urutta lead பண்ணுவாங்க full. Um, our we all became students. This wasn't a set where we were actors. We were in college. Our teacher was Sudha ma'am. When our roll number was called, we would go, finish our thing, come back. And our job was told to us so clearly. There was no waste of time. There was no lack of clarity. We knew exactly what we were there to do. It would happen on time. It would be perfect, pin to pin. We weren't going on set and waiting for like some magic to happen. No. We knew exactly. The previous day, I knew what my lines were. Obviously, on-set changes would happen. We'd go early in the morning before anything. We'd stage the scene. Best filmmaking experience. Best. No brainer. Best. Like, I would want to make a zillion films with ma'am like that.
So the thing is, being a public personality, there are also aspects of your life. You said that earlier you used to be a very closed person, but then later you learned to be a little open. There are also aspects of your life that spill out despite the fact that you may not want them revealed. And when you made a speech thanking Balaya Garu for at the Bhagwan Kesari trailer launch, a lot of people interpreted it in a slightly personal way as to maybe the character that you played had something to do with your real life, and that's why you were a little. I think you said that you were a little. You'd carry that character over even after cut was called, and then he made you laugh, and therefore you were very grateful about that.
Yeah.
When people make these kind of connections, and when there's a lot of stuff out there that's about your personal life and your family and all that, how do you process that? And I'm very curious about why you chose that particular stage to suddenly open up, because till then you'd been a fairly private person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. For me, everyone has their own share of things that they've gone through. I realized, until that film, I didn't realize myself, but there were certain actors that I connected to because of their personal life journey as well. found inspiration in them. I found hope. So I remember that film. Doing Bhagwan Kesi was such a question at that point of time because everyone was like, you're doing commercial films, you're doing your typical heroine roles. To do a daughter and father-daughter film is quite bizarre at that point in time. But for me, I just connected and I wanted to do it. And then when I want to do something, I'm someone who's just at it. Yes, there have been certain parallels with my personal life with that film. Um, I think Sir's Balakrishna Garu's character was basically like my mother's character in real life, and that is where I felt a little touched. And I went through that. That film for me was a personal journey only.
So did that help you kind of say, okay, now I'm not going to tiptoe around certain things and I'm just going to be open about stuff? Is that?
I don't know if I I don't know if I can be vocal about certain things. I don't speak about my experiences even with my own friends. It's a little scary to dive back into that path. I've done that couple of times in acting when I was still figuring out how acting worked and I really wanted to. So I once went to this one method acting class and they did something to me in 3 days. I didn't realize that this could be that taxing. And I'm not someone who takes criticism like constructive criticism is okay, but I take things with a pinch of salt always. Um, but then I realized that I might have entered when I was really, really young, but this is pretty intense. Like, this is something that can get to you. You need to be very careful. You have to protect your mental sanctity through this. What do we all hide? We all hide our emotions with people we love because we want to show strength in front of them. With the outside world, we want to have a shield in front of us. With everywhere, there's a certain way that we want to be perceived as. Then you realize when you take something like acting up, you have to be extremely naked with your emotions.
Yeah.
You're showing your utmost vulnerability, and that can really act on your head if you don't know how to cut off from it.
Yeah. So, have you used any semblance of what you learned about method acting in Parasakthi?
In Parasakthi, I was completely being in that moment.
Your Sudha's creation, I get that. But
Yeah.
I'm saying to enact something. Yeah.
There's one particular scene. It was a very emotional scene. And while doing that, I remember that one scene. I don't even know. I'm also probably. We're all very sensitive, no? Like that. Just imagining the situation, then that what would have happened. I couldn't stop. Like it just went on and on and on and on, and oh my god, the thought of it just like. But yeah.
You mean you were in that emotional state for
Yeah.
a long time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, I'm that person who cracks a joke. I'm a person who will not come across serious if you're with me on set because I'll be laughing, I'll be pulling someone's leg, I'll be doing all of that. But that one day, like people understood I'm silent. Like when I looked at my assistant and I asked for water very calmly, he was like, "Is she okay?" But I loved it. And Parasakthi was the first film I auditioned for like that.
Was
And
that the scene that you auditioned in?
yeah, very similar scene. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got into the deep end of the pool, so to speak.
Yeah.
What's it like working with, you're doing your first Hindi film with Anurag Basu, who's one of my favorite directors, and he's intense. As in, like, the emotions that he goes into are pretty intense and deep, and you're doing the film, it's Karthikeyan and at one point it was called Aashik 3, or at least it was supposed to be Aashik 3, but now it's like Tu Meri Zindagi Hai, or whatever it is. I don't know whether it's got a title or whatever it is, not asking you to confirm. But what I'm trying to say is, what is it like being in the environment of a Hindi film production with Anurag Basu?
I think I have so much gratitude for everyone, honestly. I'm very, very grateful to even have that opportunity to be able to work with such great filmmakers. And it was unreal. There's so much I want to say, but
Please feel to say all out.
I know, but considering I'm promoting Parasakthi, but no, that's a film that's very close to me. I'm really, really looking forward to that film coming out. That's going to be a milestone, and it's one of my most interesting experiences. Even an on-set experience was very, very different for me. It was very different from what I did earlier, and I think Basu sir is an amazing way of getting you into your character and like pulling things out, like getting your performance out. Basu sir is intense, and he doesn't come across like that. I'm like I call him Dada, and he's just he eating vada pav in the process. I'm like kar le re. I'm like Dada, please or something. He's a like you know when people don't know how big they are and they're just so normal about it. You're like, what the.
But the reason I'm interested in this film is also because it's almost like, which is not to, invalidate the earlier part of what you've done, but it's almost like you've stepped into a lovely phase of your career with Sudha's film and Anurag Basu's film, and where, you're working with directors who are of a different kind of mainstream filmmaker. I mean, they have their commercial instincts, but they're also, they
Really
believe
good filmmakers.
Yeah. So is that something that you're actively pursuing now? That
Definitely, I think that's. I think, especially both my debuts happening, it just. I'm very grateful.
It's unreal, right?
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal, and with such fantastic teams, I couldn't have imagined a better launch in Tamil than the family that I have, Parasakthi. And beyond imagination is my Hindi debut. It's a dream. It's a dream come true, and it's somewhere whenever I meet people, I tell them, dude, don't stop dreaming. If this could happen for me, then I'm pretty sure the world's out there offering a lot. I just count my blessings and I don't take it for granted. That's one thing I could never do. And I still go back, I'm like, is there anything I should be doing? But, and they're good human beings. I think beyond everything, at one point, I'm not someone who can work in an environment I'm not comfortable in. And that's why I've also been known for, I wouldn't say yes. I would keep saying no for things, and I don't know how that was perceived or how it was taken outside. But I think I waited, and that was the best decision I made. And to be associated with good people and good filmmakers at the same time was where I really got lucky.
So I'm not asking you to name the films, but were you offered other Hindi or Tamil films earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, right. And you said no to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, that also had multiple reasons.
But glad it worked out this way,
Yeah.
right? It's like, yeah.
No, I was very sure this is how I wanted certain things to be. I was picky. Like people would then question certain decisions of mine, but
would they say things like, "Oh, if you can do that film, why can't you do this?"
Yeah,
would they say things like that?
Yeah, of course. And I think they're very mature people. Like I really appreciate their. Oh, I have so much to say. I don't want to reveal a lot, but yeah.
Who are you talking about now?
No, that's what it was all happening in my head. So I was like, wait, Leela, stop.
Okay. No, again, what are we talking about now?
What are we talking about now?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, all right, okay. What is Sivakarthikeyan's energy like when you're acting with that person? Because you come from a particular, you act a certain way, and that person brings a certain energy, and it's that which
an amalgamation
it's
of
an
that
amalgamation.
brings.
So, what does he bring to the table that you saw?
SK sir, I realized both of us were like students on set. So both of us would look at each other like, okay, are we doing it right? And then Sudha ma'am would come direction both of us that, okay, this is the meter you're bringing in, don't do this. This is the meter you're bringing in, don't do this. This is my film. Forget whatever y'all have done in the past. So both of us would just be like, okay, okay. And then we'd go for it. But SK sir, I think really is extremely spontaneous. Like he has this, and look at his journey.
Yeah.
Like he's come step by step by step. He's really built himself, and I have so much respect for him. So that for me, being just acting with him is when I realized he's such a versatile person himself. And I would go up to him, I'm like, sir, is this okay? Like, how should we do it, Anumadri? And he would be very easy to, such an easiest person to work with. No, I mean, sometimes it's also because there were certain love scenes where பொண்ணு கொஞ்சம் dominating பொண்ணு கொஞ்சம் போயா அப்படியெல்லாம் சொல்லும்போது நமக்கு ஒரு மாதிரி will be like a little hesitant. Anna sir is be like, சொல்லுமா பரவாயில்லையம்மா.
So you really got into the role without that hero baggage and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And that for me is so important, I feel. Naturally, we as women or any actress, I think when we're paired opposite really like stars or anything, we're all hesitant. So we're all, end of the day, human beings, right? We have that equation. There is that awkwardness. There is that we don't know if we'd come across, like if anything we'd say would hurt them.
Yeah, disrespect.
Disrespect. We do not want to disrespect in any point in given time. So we tend to shy and like do our own business. So sometimes when they are kind enough to say 2 words to make you feel comfortable, that makes your work environment healthy. And for us, the entire set was like that. And during Parasakthi, we'd address each other also like that.
As in you'd call him by the character name or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and he'd call you Ratnamala?
Yeah, Ratnamal. So way Sir says it is phenomenal.
How does he say it?
அது நான் பண்ண முடியாது.
You can't?
I can't say it like him. The way he says Ratnamala, something, அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு that tune.
Like an intonation.
Yeah,
okay.
and he had a very cute name. It was Che.
So, are there actresses that have been like inspiration for you?
Definitely.
I mean, you could name like whether it's here or international, whatever. Yeah.
I think a lot of actors. See, I was someone who, I wouldn't say, if I have to be very honest, I fell in love with cinema. I wasn't born into, I didn't, from as a kid, I wasn't that kid who only watched cinema. But for me, in the process, I fell in love. And sometimes when you fall in love, you can fall in love very, very hard with films, because you start getting inquisitive about tiny things. And that was my journey with cinema. So I never watched films a lot. But when I did start watching, so many actresses. I love the old set of actresses. I love Sreeleela garu. Sreeleela ma'am was my like absolute favorite. There was Madhubala. They used to keep teasing me with her songs when I was a kid. And there's so many. Ramakrishna garu the other day, and Samantha garu was just amazing. Nayanthara Akka. These people are just, and honestly, just their journey as people. I feel like when we've seen their journey in life is where we connect more to them.
See, I think, another thing that stardom enables, like we spoke earlier in this conversation about how it's not that you're going to get a Nobel Prize because this mother thing, but because you're out in the spotlight, it's so important that you put that out there, because it may inspire other people or whatever it is, right? Similarly, when you look at Sivakarthikeyan's journey, like this guy who's very funny on TV and very spontaneous and all these things, and slowly he works up his way to like smaller movies, and then he makes comedy films, and then does something else, and does something else, and then he becomes and now he's like taken as a serious actor. And he's enabling him. He's enabled his journey, and I think that's also very inspiring in some
Amazing.
ways, because
Amazing.
it's not just the other like the. I mean, there are some people who become overnight stars, right? But he's had a long.
had a journey.
He's had a journey, and that's, I think, very inspiring when you look at the things that he's put himself through.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why even when sir was speaking in the audio launch, just all of us were like stunned. We all teared up and just looking at the journey that he's gone through and how people can do that by themselves. It just gives hope. It gives hope. Like today, I wish anyone who watches this, they get hope. They don't stop dreaming, because we're in a world that they really want to shrink you. People don't want to be add a feather to your wing. You know? People
Why do you say people want to shrink you? You're saying we live in a.
We live in a world where even if that's not their intention, out of fear we assume that's what they want to do. So it's very easy to let criticism get to you. If you're a woman, objectifying gets to you. When you ask me about it, I look at the human body as anatomy. I have a very different perspective towards it. So
Wow, I never thought. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
the human body
For
is
you, a
anatomy.
body is like a skeleton,
Yeah.
tissue, muscle.
Yeah, it is anatomy. And people just have their own this thing, but I leave that to their extent of intelligence and their knowledge. But yeah.
But does it bother you that you're objectified, or if you put up a picture on Instagram, there's probably going to be some dirty comments out there, or
I somehow, I think, protect my mental sanctity. Like, no, yeah, I avoid seeing all of
Okay.
that. But again, in my lens, my mother's lens, it's anatomy. We're doctors. So our perspective towards things are a little different. And if certain people can't see beyond that, then to each their own. But you know what? Today we live in times of people are very intelligent. I like the environment that we're in now. People have really evolved, and it's seeing them evolve that I'm trying to evolve myself. So I feel like we're getting there. People are maturing. We're all maturing. We're all learning. So,
yeah. But how does it feel to? Again, I'm not making this sound like a big thing, but at a young age, there's been a lot that you've achieved. How does that feel?
you know, to be honest, that's the only way I know to live. In the sense, I mean, working. Vacationing for me, I cannot do it for too long. I'm someone who has to work every day.
Is it the training of hospital shifts or whatever?
It's a training of that, and ever since I was a kid, I always had after school dance class, veena class, swimming class, tuition, home. Days I didn't have Bharatanatyam class, I had ballet class. I would go play hockey as a sport. So that's the only way. I don't get tired, God's been kind, but I know, like, working hard is the only way I know. I don't know to live life otherwise, to be honest.
What are you when you're not making movies?
I'm a doctor. I love studying. And I'm not saying this as a...
No, just explain that for me. When you say you're a doctor, you're a practicing doctor.
I've just finished my degree.
Right.
And my direction of thought of what I want to do that is something that I've planned for myself for later on in life. And that is the reason it was important for me to finish my degree.
Mm-hmm.
And let it be research, let it be certain things my mum is very inclined towards, and it's my line of interest as well. So I like gaining knowledge about what's happening out there in the medical aspect of things. I really like gaining knowledge about it. I like going to conferences. I love attending seminars or gaining this knowledge simply also from my mother. That's of my interest.
So let's say if I stepped into your caravan, is there a likelihood I might see medical books or something like that?
Absolutely.
Wow. How do you, let's say you have 30 great years of a film career ahead. How are you going to?
Get into that? I think women have been good at multitasking from the beginning.
But no, but because
So-
this is like being a doctor or whatever,
Yeah.
that's like a very specific thing, right?
Yeah. So when it comes to practicing, see, practicing is a whole other ball game.
Right.
And I believe for you to practice even after you study, there's a long journey.
Right.
You have your post graduation for 3 years, and you have your thing. Then you do your feather uncap things, and then to have a start, it's a long thing. What I would say is that I don't see physically practicing anytime soon, but I do intend to do something with the knowledge that I have. My mother's a doctor herself. So, in that line, setting up something, doing something is on the cards, is what I would say. And I do have a plan. So, yeah.
We shall wait for the details.
Yes.
You bring up your mother a lot in the conversation. Is she, and you mentioned that she is the closest friend you have simply because, is she also like part of your script selection and the other things?
She is a momager. She is always with me. She travels with me. She makes sure she's basically all the time with me.
She's around here somewhere?
No, she's there.
Okay.
But I don't know why I bring her up a lot. Even it's also because my day, she's always talking to me. So many conversations we have. I'm very close to her. Happens, no, and they're the only parent also, so comes from there.
Yeah, I'm actually a little envious because I don't know whether it's a generational thing or to have that kind of relationship with a parent is something that you see in certain films and maybe you read about in certain books, but I've never experienced it, and I know a lot of my friends that haven't experienced it. So it's not that you don't love your parents or they don't love you back, but there's a certain distance, I guess.
Yeah.
So I just like
I very consciously, you know what I tell her, and this is what I tell people I love. I said, when there's a problem, it's us against the problem. It's not the problem in between us. So we need to address it as a team. Now, there's a certain way she's lived her life for 40, 50 years. I've come in, I've now gotten a brain of my own. Or there's some way that I think that I assume is correct, which might or might not be. So now how do we bridge that gap?
right.
Is what I realize is communicating. In today's world, I'm so glad I did a film like Parasakthi. You know why? That was a time where people would communicate more. People would talk more. People would somehow, that distance was less. Now we've gotten all the means to get us closer, but the gap has become more. The distance
Because of
has become more.
technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So I then put a conscious effort to have these conversations with her. I show her I'm vulnerable. I tell her, listen, you doing this is hurting me. Please don't do it. And then she'll tell me the same way. So I've made sure that I often try to put a very strong front in front of her, especially when there were phases in life and that had come out and stuff. But then I'd be the boy of the house. Like, I'd be very strong and I'd be like, listen, it's all okay. It'll all be taken care of. But I made sure that she knows that it's affecting me also. Like, affecting me in the sense that if she's not happy with me, it'll affect me. She knows that. So there's that communication. And it's also, you know what, all of this I'm saying is one thing, but it's also just the most secure kind of affection you can get. I function on affection. I cannot without. I need to be taken care of. I need to be pampered. I need to pamper. And this, I realized very early, even my friends and our youth, we tend to look for it outside because we're so used to it at home. So we start searching for it outside. But if you pack your family up that well, if you're my grandparents, if you make sure you have those calls with them, you're able to have these conversations with them. I've normalized conversations at home. It was an effort I put in. Like, I was the glue stick of the family. I would make family dinners happen. I would make family trip happen. And that's a conscious effort. But it's also the only secure, and I know they won't let go. I know today I might meet someone, I make a new friend, But when time's convenient, they're going to leave me. And
Why do you say that?
I'm just saying naturally.
Yeah, but I get the feeling, yeah, the mother is the
Everyone has
permanent, as opposed
everyone
to
has their own life.
and journey or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
and they're not bound to stick by you. But family has no choice but to stick by you. So I'm like, you guys like should have thought, bro, types.
Yeah.
So that's why I tend to find my security there. I wouldn't want to have too many friends also. I'm okay with like a handful of friends.
Did Sudha function as a kind of a mother prototype on the set?
Yeah. She's my mother only. She's tamed me when I was wrong. We've had our moments of if she's upset with me, I'll tell you, this is how I function. I'm not someone, if someone's upset with me, I'm not going to go to a corner and just be quiet about it. No. I'll go running back to her and I'd be like what's happening? Like, what's happening? Talk to me. She'd stand here, and even if she's upset just because how much load she had on her, and she's getting worked up, her eyes would tear up, and she'll be wearing her mask, she'd be sitting like this in front of the monitor, like literally, okay? This is the monitor, she just hold, and she'd be doing this, and tears will be rolling down, just because of the amount of pressure she had, and what she had to go through. Sometimes I don't know how to communicate or how to be there. So I just go stand behind her. And then I go a little closer. I just put my chin on her shoulder. And I just wait. And now she's a very sensitive person. But she won't show it. She'll turn. Shot ready, let's go. So it's so sweet when I think of it. It's so sweet. I was an AD on set. Like, I would AD and I would be like, okay, ma'am, this has to be done. We were a team. Like, this shot has to be done by this time. We have 3 more shots left. And this was the first film where I knew how many shots are left. This we have to do. This has to get ready like this. So, nobody on set would be like, okay, we're the actor. We're not going to go pull this chair or put that stool here. No. Everyone bend, do everything. If your props have to be put back, we'd all do it ourselves. We would that.
You all own the film.
We own the film. Yeah, that's what.
And I can't wait to see it because the visuals look fabulous. I told Ravi this and he was like, he gave me this one about what he did, and it was it's fantastic and it looks fantastic. The trailer looks fantastic. So all best wishes. And
thank you.
It's just lovely talking to you, and thank you so much for to use a word that you used for being, I would say, to an extent vulnerable, because I think the best conversations sometimes happen when, and I'm not necessarily saying that everybody's going to find this great, but I was very invested in this because I felt that there was some truth happening, and thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. That was very sweet of you to say, and I think you were asking the right questions. You tapped into a good side.
Thank you.
It was lovely. Thank you. And I really, really wish you watch the film.
I will soon.
Yeah. It's a student film.
And thank you for getting up as how does SK say it again?
Ratnamala.
Yeah. So all the best.
Thank you so much.
Presta Premium Women's Wear. Let your body love it.
Darling Solar 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம். This festive season, travel the world with Grand Royal Tours.